and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode. Welcome to the very first episode of how to become a composer in this modern day and age. A new series from eluukkanen. Many people have throughout the years come and asked me how to become a composer. You know, imagine you walking on the street and saying one time, "Hey, I want to become a composer. I got what it takes. I can do it." But there's not a place in the world that you can actually go and search and get the information easily. I know this very on my own because I have became a composer from really zero. I have no family background on music whatsoever. Well, I got something. One thing I did have when I was young is that I went to play piano. But that's it. That's all it was. And really, the thing is, in this series of videos, this huge series we're going to be starting from now, we're going to be looking on how to become a composer from very beginning. You might already have some experience. You might already have some knowledge on how to do this. But we are going to be really beginning from something else, a beginning of zero. Because the thing is, there's no really place to really go to if you want to just get the meat and greed of the situation, if you want to get realistic information. Because some people, when they want to go and become a composers, they go to academies, these high prestige places, and get the information there. Or they have teachers to help them out. That is a potential way of things, but not all have access to that. Not all have, and that's why with this series of what we're just going through, and we are recording, we are going to go through that. We're going to be checking out what are the most viable ways of doing it, and just with a realistic tone. We're going to be, in more episodes and forward, we're going to be focusing on different areas of becoming a composer for music, such as if you want to become music composer for video games, for film, for advertisement, for whatever it may be. I'm even hoping to get some other composers from these areas to come to this show and get their feedback on this, interview them essentially, as I've done some interviews in the past. So that is the point of this whole thing. How to become a composer from zero to hero. And I tell you really in the beginning already, that it's going to be a tough ride. It's not going to be as easy as some may tell you. There are some YouTube videos out there on discussing on the topics and the information and the nitpicks, but this is going to be a very much a close information, all out series on the whole thing. If you want to go to description, there's going to be a playlist of this very series in there, and you are going to be see all the episodes in there. If you're watching this afterwards, I recommend already going and pressing it so you can see from episode 1 to forward. We're going to be going from 0 and actually increasing the percentage to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it just expands. So in the first episodes, we're really going to look at the basics. We are really going to just look at, hey, if you're really starting from nothing, are you able to do this? What things you have to do, and so forth and so forth. So that's it. And also, we are going to be looking at this live. We are currently live on many places to look at this whole thing. So that's the whole thing. This is going to be quite a unique little show. Hopefully you enjoy your time over here. And soon we are going to begin. The thing is, one thing you need to get ready. Hopefully you are very much interested to start this journey, because I'm willing to help you out. You can comment on the screen, like I'm just. Let me just do a test comment. And you're able to, input your information either while the stream is going or afterwards, and I'm going to be answering to every one of those. I'm personally, my background when it comes to music is very much from zero. That's the thing. I started from really nothing, and I think it has kind of taught me to really appreciate the fact that there needs to be this sort of community spirit of composers helping each other out. I was helped in the past by some people, and I want to really give the community back. So I'm very much doing this video, and with each episode we are going to progress forward from zero to something. That is the goal. We already have some viewers in the land of Twitch, D-Live and YouTube. Good to see you all. Good to see beginning of this little adventure of ours. But now, before we begin, I'm going to be adding this to the people that are currently watching the whole thing and telling you, if you are beginning and having this idea of, hey, I want to do this. One thing I'm going to be discussing this series quite a lot, it's actually music distribution, how to distribute your music and so forth. I'm going to be sharing you this, a tool I personally use to distribute my music out there that is called Roadnote. And it is, especially if you do music, of course, current places to really that people listen music are iTunes, Spotify, Amazon and more. These places really attract many people, and artists can actually get paid for putting their music out there once they get their numbers and listener times quite big. And I personally have been using this service called Roadnote, or in this. There are many other services like CD Baby and others that kind of give this sort of same sort of service, but I think for the beginners it's kind of bad, because the thing is, if you, let's say, release and make songs in the future, let's say you do 5 songs, and you are really just a beginner, you don't have any audience whatsoever, nobody really listens to you really. So the thing is, if you really start from that, you know, the CD Babies and others, you have to pay either yearly sort of subscription, like some kind of a Netflix subscription, or you have to pay for from individual release. You know, some services have that. So imagine releasing 5 songs and paying like $15 from each. If you already have made your career successful, this is nothing really. But when in the beginning, this is not very viable. So I do recommend checking out this service that is called Roadnote. Again, let me put this whole thing in the screen, because Roadnote is actually, I've been using it for many years. It has been very excellent when it comes to customer service. They help me out, even I ask them information how to set up things such as you know, how to do the Spotify thing, how it looks and such, and they really help me out on that. So I really have to give them back for this support. This is a link I recommend you to check out, because if you check it out, you're able to distribute your music either for free plan, you get 85% of the profits from the music, and they get 15%, you know, for a free plan, or a paid plan, you pay once and get 100% of the profits. That's the thing, because when you go forward with becoming a composer, being a musician, of course, money is going to be something you want to focus on at some point, and it's good to begin earlier than never, I guess. And very much for me, it helped out quite a lot to, you know, for a few years ago to sign for this service and start to get my music out there. And I've been using the free plan for most of the stuff, because, you know, you just put that there and they get 15% of the profits, you get 85% of the profits. It's very easy to do. So I recommend go, and there's a link in the description I'm going to be putting there, also in the screen and in the comment section. There's again the link to that referral program, which I recommend you to check out. The thing is, I'm only going to be paid if you succeed and get, you know, yourself paid in that. So that's sort of the thing I'm personally using this, you know, I'm only for that reason I'm doing this sort of referral thing, because I've seen many people sharing, you know, some services doing this sort of thing, and they get paid if they just share it around. But I only get really paid if you do well in this, you know, whole thing. You know, if you are able to get thousands of listeners, then only I'm able to get paid. That's the thing, and that's why I'm doing this whole series, of course helping you out, but at the same time it's, I think, a good incentive, because if you sign up for this program and you do well, then I do well and I do more of this service. So I recommend you to, if you want to support the channel, help it out, of course, likes and comments, and that very much helps. But this referral thing, if you go to a link down in the description, which I'm actually going to be putting there right now, if you do that, it's going to be a huge thing, I tell you. So let me put that there in a moment. But I tell you, that is the thing. I recommend to go to Roadnote, distribute your music today. Very easy, one of the best services I've personally tried. Go and do that. But now, this is going to be the beginning. How to really become a composer from 0 to hero. We're going to be starting the process. I hope you're following, because the thing is, we're going to be looking at very, very tiny information, which is hard to find. Usually, when I was, told about information, it was just these people that, were already inside of the whole thing. They knew all of the stuff. They did not go to academies. They actually just hard worked on it. And I've been personally just, recently, one of a friend of mine who's in a storage work actually said to me, hey, how to really become a composer, how to really start this stuff that you do, like you do this actively, and how to really do it. And the thing is, this is going to be a series we're going to be very much delving into that. This first episode is going to be if you have 0 experience. That's the thing. 0 experience. Nada. We're going to be looking at where you start from, and with realistic proportions, because some dream sellers might just stay with, hey, you do this and you're able to just succeed right away, and I'm not really interested in that, because that's not the reality of things. I tell you already, it's going to be a very rocky road. Very rocky indeed, because there's a lot of competition. Many people want to come here and do this sort of stuff.
Good day, indeed. Elias.
Hey, Akreem, welcome to, good to see you. Welcome to our How to Become a Composer from 0 to Hero. Indeed, we are an interactive stream. If you comment on here in the places that I mentioned, you're able to, discuss and at the same time get your input on those things. Let me know. But indeed, How to Become a Composer, a very hard path, and we're going to be very realistic about that. However, it is possible with your actions to really get your stuff out there if you do it hard enough, I tell you. So that is going to be our discussion topic at the same time. If you want to help out this series, I'm urging you to go to social medias that you got and share it right there. Like the stream, I very much appreciate it. Indeed so. But let us now put some information out there. If you have any ideas on yourself, let me know. But we're going to be starting from really beginning, as you say. So imagine, let's say, you are a composer. Oh, you are not a composer. Yes, this is the thing. You are starting from 0, nothing. You have nothing whatsoever. So imagine, let's say, you are. Let's do a person like that is an example person, like Bert, the composer. Bert, the composer. Indeed, he starts from really 0. He has been. Well, let's do some examples. One of them is like this. This we could do at least in the beginning. But the composer it has been a gardener, let's say. These are really random examples, but still, we're going to be starting from really simple things. And he has been liking some music styles. He's been listening a lot of film soundtracks. He has his favorite games, of course. His favorite game is Breath of the Wild from Nintendo. Let's say his favorite game inspires him. Indeed, that's how it looks. His favorite game inspires him. And okay, some reason we had the copy of that. Well, alright, whatever. Thing is this. But the composer's favorite game inspires him, and he wants to become a composer because of that sort of thing. He likes this sort of soundtrack style of music, film score style of music, game music, film music, and etc. You can actually apply any other, if you want to have like, let's say, rap music, jazz music, anything you want. Because this is the thing. Bert has interest, his favorite inspiring music style, and he starts from that. That's the thing. Currently, we have so many tools to really, if you are just having a computer, these sort of basic tools, you're actually able to start making the music on your own. So we're going to be looking into that. So Bert, he wants to start making music right away. One thing that what you need, essentially, I'm going to be putting requirements on how to become a composer, like a basic requirements. If you don't have these, I should recommend to do some other jobs, perhaps, and save up for these, because usually a common misconception is that composing is kind of, you can just go there and start to do it kind of easily. So, composing requirements. Have you, by the way, Cream, had any kind of interest for becoming composer yourself? Let me know. But composing requirements, I'm going to be putting a list. These you need in order to really start doing anything, because otherwise it's going to be harder, especially when looking at these tutorials. I recommend to getting these first in order to start doing this. So you need some income, I suppose, income for, let's say, computers, composing programs, etc. It's a kind of investment. It is not something. You can potentially start from zero doing it, but if you have like somebody to help you, investing to you, hey, I want to become a composer, and then that is a way. Also, if you do have your own personal job, you save up money for that. That is always a very good thing, because you are not playing with others' money, you're playing with your own money. That's a thing. Some income is good, because the things and tools you use, especially for myself right here, I'm using basic computer, Windows computer. I've used basic tools for that. And the beginning investment for me when I have my own composing tools was like let's say $800. And that's the thing, you know, that combines the computer price. You can have a cheap computer, so you can minus from that. But I have a computer, then I have the composing program, and others, these sort of tools. So it's going to take a little bit of investment to really do this. That's the thing. We're going to be realistic with this. I'm not going to sell you a dream. Thing is, there are, let's say, there are free tools, but quality ones cost. So we're going to be actually doing examples with the composing requirements. There's the Bert, the composer, who wants to really start doing this. Let's imagine him. So let's imagine Bert that is actually doing this sort of composing stuff himself, like here. Let's copy him. Bert the composer. Bert the gardener. He does some gardening. Gets around $2,000 per month or something like. I don't know. I don't know what the basic income in other places are, but like around I think it was like in Finland it's like 2,000 something like that. Something like that per month he gets per month. Of course, in different countries it depends, but of course the market is, I don't really go into that. Per month, let's say month, and he's able to invest from that to his composing. Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers. It's not pretty, I know, but I have to really think it's in a kind of a realistic fashion. That's the thing. Hopefully you appreciate the honesty I do here, because some people, they actually just want to say, you can do this, you can do that, without actual input from themselves or anything really. Like, they just want to sell you dreams. Personally, I'm not really fond of selling dreams to anyone. Dreams are lovely, of course, they are motivation factors, but we need to think about the reality of situation. If you want to really become far, you have to, it's especially you're going to be your own boss. It's going to be very important that you are going to be realistic for yourself when it comes to your work, because nobody else is going to be helping you out, especially in the beginning. Of course, I'm going to be helping you, and you know, with that community, hopefully people also help out as well. But the thing is, you're going to be your own boss. That's going to be a very hard thing, especially for people that have been used to, let's say, having a boss over them that, you know, gives them like an indication, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. So it is a thing that personally you have to think about. It's going to be a hard one, especially for those kind of people that have not been used to that. But I recommend to, you know, independence and thinking about that, be able to do this. You're able to do this, but it just takes some time and focus and dedication. It's not for everyone, but it's possible. Let me just put information on here. So the thing is, if you really want to become composers, let me just actually focus on the things. You need some income. Some people might have already like famous friends that can help them out. Let's say, you know this sort of Hollywood person, and they can help you. Of course, it of course depends on, you know, not all of us have that. I personally have no help whatsoever when I began, and yes, as we are streaming this sort of process of becoming a composer from zero. You have to keep in mind, it's good to use all the things you know in your advantage. If you have a friend, like the truth of the matter is, if you have a friend that already knows something about, let's say, composing, and you know, he's like, let's say, he knows about bands and he's already like involved in the music business. If you're very good friends with that, it's very good to. It's very good to use that in your advantage, in a good way, of course, not getting that person angry. But if you have a friend, let's say, that has a contacts to music industry and such, it's good to be friends with that if you want to really get your music out there. Because the truth of the matter is, whoever you think is going to help you with, let's say, going to university and such, the most important thing is contacts. Contacts have always been useful. If you know some people that can help you, Bert the gardener, he doesn't really know anyone, but if you already know somebody that can help you, ask them questions. Like, you know, that is a very good way to approach it. But we are thinking about Bert the gardener. He has 1,900 income per month, which is, I don't know, is it big or small in America, but I've seen those sort of prices in Finland, at least. He has 200, actually it's a kind of small amount, but still anyways, $200 per month he can use for this stuff. Okay, so we have some kind of a beginning basis. So computers, I don't know, it depends how big you're going to take. Around, let's say, $300 for a computer that can run some composing programs. We are not going to run so huge programs that they're going to destroy your computer. But I suppose around 400 or 300 euros for like a decent computer and its parts, you know, combined together. I think it works. Personally, I had like a computer around $400 when I had to start. I saved up for that. And then I was able to, I'm able to actually use it even right now. I've been keeping it alive, poor fella. The thing is, that's you need a computer. Then, when you got the computer on your hand, let me just copy it on here. Here we go, copy. You got, let me write over here, computer you got on your hands. It is a cost, you calculate that in. You need computer, composing program, and additional instruments. Because the thing is, some programs that are offered online, I'm going to be talking about the programs and such. I thought you talked about the computers. I personally use Windows. There can be Apple computer, you know, these Mac computers and such. You can use them. I personally have knowledge of Windows myself, so I do recommend that. But of course, if you have Mac computers, there are programs and tools for them. Some of them I'm going to be actually mentioning in here as well, that you can use to make this possible. But thinking about computers and so forth, and softwares, this one thing I'm going to be actually going and getting through to you is that thinking about what style of music you get and what I'm going to do is going to be much involving what sort of program you're going to get. I'm going to be listing programs, and I'm going to be telling you their good sides and bad sides. It's good to really think what sort of music style you want to do. If you want to do, let's say, a music style for classical music, if you want to do a rap music, it's very different programs, what sort of tools you need on them. And it's good to think about that, because the thing is, different composing programs, different tools you're going to use with computer, they're going to be different, they're going to be very different when you think about, you know, how to make certain type of music. Because my program, I don't know, it's not the best when it comes to making rap music, but it's a very good when it comes to classical music. Good to think about that, good to think how that would be going. And yeah, that is something I very much recommend to test out and see how it would go and how it would work to, you know, when we go to the program. But think about that, become a composer from zero to a hero. You need to think about computers, the programs, and then the additional instruments. I'm going to be mentioning a few ones over here, but of course you can put out and check out your own ones as well. So we are doing this sort of help for composers in the beginning of their career. So that's why it is good to give all the information out there. But now back to the list. So let us share over here. One moment. Let me just put over here, yeah, like this. The thing is, we're going to be now putting here a list of some tools you might think that are most common used. Of course, let me know if I'm missing someone. You can, of course, comment like this. Comment, and then it's visible on the screen. Now, let me put over here tools that you can have. One of them is Pro Tools, Logic, FL Studio. Some even use GarageBand. I don't know how good it's right now, but it was a kind of freeware software back in the day. But GarageBand. MuseScore is a free one, I suppose. I use personally Sibelius. There are so many different tools, and these are called DAWs, Digital Audio Workstations. These are called DAWs. And Pro Tools, Logic, FL Studio, these are these sort of digital audio workstations that work with this sort of a block sort of fashion. No, they have this. Oh, let me actually just put that like here. Yeah, I'm actually going to be showing it on the screen. I just showed my Facebook a little bit. Yeah, accidentally, because this is a live stream. But hey, let me open you Pro Tools and showing how does it look like as a composing program in itself. We are opening here. I think you can even hear my voice. Good. This is Pro Tools music software, one of the very well and commonly used one. And it's actually from the same creator of Sibelius program. This is one that is kind of visual, kind of gives you this sort of blocks, and many people use them. This is, I think, that this is the look of the whole program. Let me actually zoom it for you. Zoom it. It looks like this. This is the program, how it looks. It gives you this sort of color palette when thinking about of the music themselves, like that. Individual instruments are like, well, let me actually show it to you guys. Looks like in here, this one instrument. The song progresses from the left to right, and each block show like what sort of instruments and how they have been put together, sort of fashion. That is how it works. And this is a commonly used one. Same developer as program for Sibelius. Sibelius is a very different sort of program. But this is, I've heard many people use this, and of course with the advertisement page over here it says a good expression and so forth, so forth. You can have plugins with this, you can put and create some very good sounding music, of course, depending on how much it costs. Of course, we're going to be now checking that out and seeing the current price of the whole thing. Here we go. So, as you can see, this is one of the investments you have to actually take if you are going to take a program. But as you can see, there is, let's see, starting from 19 units on teachers. Is this a monthly price or not? It seems there's one-time price. So if you are a study or teacher from a certain place, you can actually get it around $29 US. Mix music and audio together. Of course, this is just a beginning price, I betcha, because the thing is, they're going to sell you like some additional instruments by themselves. But this is the beginning price you'll be able to get if you start this sort of thing. If you are a teacher, you can just start $30. If you want be an ultimate person, meaning that you are not affiliated with any school, you're individual, then I suppose it's cost $80. And this is the thing, of course, with the pro version, you're able to get much more from it. That's the thing. But still, a pretty lovely price. If this is not monthly price, this is the best one out there. One thing you have to keep in mind also, that if you purchase this, like you're just going to see one there from here, like you can see that there is this list of virtual instruments. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Plugins are sold separately. Virtual instruments, EQ, dynamics, reverb, delay, modulation effects, utility, guitar effects. All of these are sold to you. I don't know what the price individually are for these because I don't personally use that. But prepare to pay something around $400 for instruments that you like. Let's say I personally have purchased good orchestral sounding instruments, violins, flutes, horns, drums. These are good to actually pay for. That's the thing. I shared this information to a friend that wanted to become a composer, and he said, "Eeks, that costs a lot of money." But that's the thing. You can, of course, if you really want to put some time, you could potentially record your sounds with the microphones and such. We're going to be looking into that in another episode. But the thing is, if you really want to start from something somewhere, this is you have to keep in mind. This is what you really have to keep in mind. But instead of now focusing on the programs, I just wanted to kind of warn you, kind of make you scared a little bit about, the investment sort of thing, because that's a thing normally many people don't know about this whole thing. But now let's focus on the positive side of the thing. We have talked about this sort of like if Bert wants to become a composer and sort of faction. I'm going to be talking about the good stuff when it comes to composing, and how you can do this. Good sides of becoming a composer. Good sides of it is obviously you're able to do own music you've always wanted. One of my friends wants to make this sort of anime music from his favorite animes, and he can actually do that if he goes forward with that. So here you can do, let's write over here, favorite type of music you want to do. Indeed, that's the good side of the music. You can actually make it on your own. Of course, it takes time to really perfect it, but that's what you're essentially going to be able to do. Then also one thing that composers, like, you can, if you work hard enough, of course you can concert, you can do this sort of like let's say put your music out there to online places to people to listen to, get your music listened by others. I tell you, this is a very good feel I still have today, because the thing is, if you get someone to listen to your own creations, it's kind of unique feeling. I don't think there's anything out there like that, because it's kind of a creation of your soul. If you're able to get someone else to listen to your stuff, it's a very positive stuff. And the thing is, potentially, if you work hard enough with these composing sort of stuff, you're able to get yourself to projects and make music for games and etc. Thing is, there's my friends in Twitterland. Hi, by the way, if you're watching. Thing is, I have many composer friends from land of Twitter, and there's actually a very lovely composer community in there. I would recommend actually to go in there if you're interested. Those composers, they do a lot of music works for individual indie artists and such, and it is possible, I tell you, if you develop your music enough, you're able to get it interested by other people and get your music out there with that. I personally done that, worked on some projects, currently even working some right now, so those are the good side of things. Where I would start, if you want to really start this whole thing, I would very much start from just planning on, let's go with the essentials over here. Very, very much essential is going to be what we're going to be focusing. Composing essentials. What do you need if you really want to start composing? Well, one of the things is to know that what style you want to compose to. Like this is the list of showing what are the things that you really need, like to really even start to making the first song. So the idea. It's good to have some kind of idea of composing. Like some people, let me actually go to the world of composing from this screen. Let me actually open you these sort of like composers that are very known and big ones. They have their own like where they focus and so forth. Like let's say, let me actually open to you the screen of please. Rick Beato is a very well-known composer person from YouTube. One of the things he focuses on, this sort of rock band music, of course, all types of music. And he has very good tips when it comes to that, of course, on this sort of on this sort of stuff. Of course, a big channel and so forth. But like if you look at, let's say, there's this one person that is, I know. Let me actually go to my channel quickly. Yes, indeed, my channel over here. Hello, there. 3 people are watching. There's this other person that has been very active from Finland as well. A person that I'm very huge, big fan of, because he actually has been able to succeed really well. I know him personally. The Celestial Aeon. He has this sort of idea that he, as you see, Celtic fantasy soundtrack, epic ambient, and these are the things he focuses on. He focuses on these sort of things. It's good to have something to focus on. It's like, what is, people say brand, but what is the sort of identity? Identity, I think that's the best word of it. Like, what's your musical identity? Are you going to be a composer for Celtic music or rock music? It's better to focus on something rather than everything. Of course you can focus on everything, but then you are not going to be best in one single thing. That's the kind of problem I personally run into sometimes. But the thing is, that's the thing. Idea, identity, and then thinking about like what is that identity going to do with? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do? And like let's say like a plan. Okay, that's the better word. Plan.
Focus theme.
Focus on a theme. If you want to be a game composer, do that. If you want to be a jazz composer, do that. Just think about it. Like this person has done this sort of logo for himself. Matti Palanen, Celestial Aeon. You can use your own name or perhaps like some kind of a name, like let's say White Tiger or something like that. You know, anything like that. Just like something, a name that catches people's eyes. I personally use eluukkanen because I know nobody else is going to use that, and it's helping me for just, you know, if I just say eluukkanen, all my stuff is right there. You have to think about this. The idea, what you want to do, the identity of what you're about, and the plan, what you're going to do. These are the three essential things that you need in order to start. Because the plan essentially is, like this person, like look at him, Celestial Aeon. When I look at this channel over here, he has some Celtic music, 1 hour of music things. I'm actually interested in starting this myself, because the thing is, if you do 1 hour of music, mostly people in YouTube land, they listen 1 hour of music things. So I'm personally going to be focusing on that at some point. That's the thing, 1 hour of music, he has this idea of things. He focuses on things that people are already familiar with. Epic music, of course, his own music, but let's say he does music for Skyrim, for coronavirus, for all of these sort of things. All of this sort of stuff, yes. All of this stuff. Zombies, Assassin's Creed, Valhalla, medieval stuff, all of the good stuff. Zelda, Hateno Village. That's the identity. And the plan is very good because people are familiar with, let's say, Zelda already. They know what Zelda is, indeed. And they're going to be finding his channel, and it's easier to get him around if he does stuff for Zelda. Of course, you can still do your original work, but you have to really think about how it serves others. Thing is, actually I'm going to be writing it down because it's a very important stuff. Akreem said focus is good. This is going to be a very big thing. And I think nobody actually talks about that. And I think, you know, I learned this outside of the music, but I think this is a very important thing of music. How your music serves others. This is the big thing. And you might think, what does this mean? But the thing is, when your music serves others, it means that, you know, if someone, let's say, sees your song, what is the sort of thing you want to have? Do you want your music to be, let's say, listen to the background to relax, or do you want your music to, let's say, be in games, or like what is it serving? What's the purpose? Because let's say, you know, in other areas outside of music, when a person thinks about making a company for himself, or like let's say selling cheese, he's going to serve people by making the best cheese available. One of the things musicians have to think about, what are going to serve? Like, there's interest for people, let's say, to listen classical music, for jazz music, for anime music. Are you going to, and this connects to the identity and the idea. How you are going to serve that? How your music is going to serve others? Are you going to be the one who is known for providing the best anime music out there? Are you going to be the one who is known for the best jazz music that ever is? Or video game remakes, I do those sometimes, and that sort of stuff. You have to think about how your music serves, and this solves many issues. Many people don't focus on this because they think, you know, my music doesn't need to serve anyone. It's just like, I want to do it because I like it. That's the thing. If you want to do it, it's kind of a hobby thing, that's alright. But if you want to do it actually that someone listens it, you have to think about other people's heads. You have to look at them and say, why does that person wants to listen that certain track? Why does that person want to really look into that sort of stuff? And if you crack that open, you've already done better than most of the composers. Because I know many composers who haven't actually looked at this right now. So if you know this early on, man, you're already gone far, I tell you. Composer essential, ideas, identity, plan, how your music serves others. Good to think about, good to get to know. Do you have any examples of, like, let's say, things you would like to hear, like Akreem and others? Like, I personally like listening sort of relaxing music channels. Sometimes I go to relaxing music channels and they serve that. And that's how I find that music. That's the thing. You have solved many problems if you already done that. Now, the thing is, reality of things. Reality is, of course, a big thing. And this includes...
Akreem.
Money,
Intention matters.
Intention, of course. If you really actually going to be putting that there right away, because the thing is, it's very big part of the identity as well. Because if you have just like what is your intention? If your focus is just the money, you're going to have hard time. This is not for people that want money. If you are not already successful, it's not the money sort of situation, I tell you. Intention, if you just want to, if your dream is to become, let's say, make the best music, that's the good intention. If you because then the passion, it drives you forward. You're going to have hard times in the future. You're going to have good times in the future. Good to know what drives you forward with this. Is it the money side of it? Of course, that is going to be one of the focuses. But is it the main focus? Yeah, that's the big thing. Reality is, it depends on what you're able to do with the stuff you have. Money, tools, time. I think these are the most important stuff over here. Of course, one thing I'm going to be still adding in the essentials is the dream. This is going to be a very good one to have. It's not, of course, reality always, but it's good to have a plan to want something. If you want to get something, you're able to do work to go that situation, go forward to that. So I personally have a dream to get to make like full-time living from this and really like do whatever I want to do. Let's say a cappella music and such. That's my dream, and I'm doing all my actions serving that dream. Of course, I'm having a reality to take part in there as well. But good to think about that. The idea, identity, plan, intention, dream. Those carry a very much. If you're able to figure those out, you're able to really start stuff. Reality and money, of course, will good help, because if you have, let's say, already a kind of income to put stuff into, you're able to start more easier. We just talked about some tools, computer costs, tools cost, and instruments cost. That's the thing. That's already a cost around $800 if you start from something simple. If you want the good quality, $800. If you want to do it for free, you're able to do it. There are some free tools. I'm going to be, of course, sharing those later on in the channel, so very much I recommend to subscribe and very much follow me for that. The thing is, if you want the reality and money and tools and being there, then I would recommend the quicker you want to start, I think 800. If you want to start from simple stuff, 200. If you want to really start from free, you're able to do that, but it's going to be very difficult because the quality, that's the thing. At least in the beginning, of course. Once you get more skill, this stops really being the case. But the thing is that money is comparable to the quality in the beginning. That's the sad thing about this. If you have the shitty tools, I'm just saying, like there are some very nasty composing tools out there. People are going to judge you from that. So the thing is, in the beginning, quality equals money. That's the thing.
Put education into.
Also education, of course. That is one thing. Education. Education. There are one of these good channels actually that can be that you can look at the information from, like this channel.
Both formal and non-formal. Very
good to actually focus on. I'm going to be adding a whole other thing on that because I'm going to be actually wanting to talk that as a topic. But yeah, one of the, of course, examples is eluukkanen channel when it comes to future stuff. Hey, Zabek, welcome to the stream. We're just learning how to become a composer from zero to hero. That's the sort of stuff we're doing here. Now, let me show you the composer person I'm personally looking into. Like he has been giving some good advice on stuff. Let's see. This is the Celestial Aeon. We're going to go back over here. Let me show it to you. This is one of the channels I recommend to checking out. He's been actually doing very well. He's soon with 10,000. I am zero. Well, then this might be something interesting for you, my friend. Hopefully, eluukkanen is going to help you out. This is actually a very good, like this non-formal education. Going to channels like these, looking what they say about human computers, AI components, percussions, electronic music. It doesn't hurt to look at the information. Not at all. And Zabek, especially if you want to start, education is good. But it's not the only thing you need to focus on. It's a very good one part. You get information, but starting from something, really like perfecting it, looking at information, all of these are just one part of how to become there. Indeed. We are just putting a list down here, and we're going to be putting another one of these. It's going to be, of course, I tell you, money isn't everything. I very much believe that. But in the beginning, it's going to matter. You know, the quality of stuff. You are not having a studio yet. You are not able to record anything yourself. So money does matter in that sense. Of course, I do believe skill is the best thing. But of course, skill is something you're going to grind for. You have to grind for that. But now we're going to be putting here education. Education, like as we were suggested by a cream. Education, non-formal and formal. I'm going to be actually telling you about the good sides of both of these. Not all of you can go to universities, but I tell you, universities have very good sides in some, and they are the formal education. The big minus side is the cost. If you're really starting, I don't recommend to really paying like $40,000 to go to university. Not right away, at least. I think you should be waiting to have some kind of basis and testing it. Do you really like it? If you really then like it, then go for it, I suppose. I personally live in Finland. Our education costs $0. I haven't yet put too much on. Like I've taken university courses, but not fully gone to university side of things, because the big thing, of course, money. For some countries, in Finland, it's not. But at the same time, depends on the school, really. In Finland, it is a very the sort of the. In Finnish, the university, when it comes to music creation, it's kind of on, at least on my side, at least on my point of view. I've been on some courses in there. It's kind of back in time. It doesn't yet have all the knowledge of future and how things should be done, I believe, fully. So that's why I don't really think it's a good solution. But if there's a really good school that you know that can help you, that's the thing. When you have education, let's say go to a school, let's say Harvard or something, you don't want to just go there because everybody says it's good. You have to. I want to go there because you do something if it helps you out. And I don't mean. Like, of course, you want to be friendly with people and such, and getting to know composers and such. But one big important thing when it comes to learning stuff, especially universities, it's if you want to do something. If you want to get something out of something, you need to know what it is valued, of course. If you know that if you go to a certain school, you're able to get, of course, friends and contacts. That is always a bonus thing. But if you go to a school, you want to know, are you able to get yourself in front of orchestra to play some stuff? Are you able to get to opportunities much more easier? Are you able to, let's say, have a choir sing your music? And these sort of things. If those are guaranteed almost, then it's a good investment. But if it's just like nah, maybe not, then really perhaps you shouldn't be thinking about it right away. Because the thing is, you have to think about education. Oh, I'm just noticed I have 2 C's in there. My education has seemed to be a bit limited. Education, no. So yeah, the thing is, if you have education and formal, it usually costs a lot. It has to be worth it. That's the thing. I do believe it. Some of those are like stealing. They like steal money out of you. I tell you. Even if you haven't even begun and you already paid them like $40,000, what is that sort of thing? But now, the non-formal education that we just showed, of course, eluukkanen channel is one of them. That's why I recommend to subscribe. One of them I would recommend is this channel called David Bruce Composer. He put some information there. Very good things, of course, on music theory. Personally, I don't compose in this sort of style, but good to hear from different composers of how they think on stuff. Good to hear that, indeed. Also, the other one is this other composer, not the Bruce. Well, there's many different composers who you can look information to and see what they are about. I personally also recommend, if you want to non-formal education, not just going to someone and getting information, then by just told you.
Maybe make a video about this topic.
Which topic? Oh, yeah, I'm going to be doing that, of course, very much. This, how to become composer from 0 to hero is going to be a very long-term sort of season. We're going to have episodes and looking forward to that information. But I'm going to be actually doing a video from this very topic. We could do it, because the thing is, you have to get your money's worth if you really get something. One of the ways I personally recommend is self-studying. And what I mean by that is, go to already someone that is successful, like this. He's successful, I tell you. He has bigger numbers than me, I tell you. I personally have studied him. And I think he's doing very much. Of course, I recommend subscribing as well. So this person, he does this Celtic stuff. I'm not going to be actually playing because I might be copyright watching over here. But things, you're going to look him. He has the style of videos. He has some simple background stuff. He has his music put here in the description like this. So the YouTube shows what songs they are individually. Like, look at over here. Very good. Just very, very useful, as you can see. And then he puts some information out there. He makes them, you know, you can, music conditions, you can use them, blah, 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 if you do this sort of stuff. Study this sort of stuff. You have to study it, look at it, the information. It might be useful. It might be actually something that nobody tells you. That's personally a thing I personally got a good education out of, just going to places that are already successful and learning from those. Indeed, eluukkanen has some good resources that are going to be just showing you some good resources, but one of the things is that you just go to places that already worked, study them, see what they do right, see what makes them tick and what makes you excited about them, and then implement those for yourself. Of course, this beginning is going to be hard. I tell you, like Sabek said about the you know, the universities. One of the things about universities is that you know, it's given that if you go there, pay a lot of sums, people are going to just like feed you. Hey, this is how you need to do. This is what you need to do. Sort of like spoon feed you information. It's going to be easier. But I tell you, one of the things that have been able to get me where I am, you know, in projects, in films, working for TV and radio, is just looking how successful people do it. And I tell you, one of them is, of course, he's my friend and such. There are other channels as well. Learn from these people. Go and check out. This is, I think, the best advice you can get. Instead of just, of course, you can grind on yourself and see how it works and kind of trial and error. But if you have an idea, let's say you want to become a jazz channel, go to biggest jazz channels in, let's say, YouTube or in Spotify. What do they do? How do they share their music? What sort of covers they have? What do people say about them? Go and check it out. It's one of the very good things when it comes to self-education. I tell you, let me actually write it over here. Self-education. This is one of the, I think, one of the most things that successful self-education, one of the most successful people in this whole thing, they do self-education quite a lot. And why is that? Well, they know that if they're able to get the information themselves, they might be able to, you know, just kind of customize the whole thing for themselves. And that's the big thing. Customization. When it comes to making your own career, own music, becoming zero to hero, you are your boss. You want to have information that helps you. And not all the information like I'm even going to give you. Like, that's the dream. That's the reality of things. You know, how I did my music, it might not 100% work on you. So self-education is one of the best and most important things I would focus on. And not many channels say that, but of course, going through, taking some notes, seeing how they do it. Very good. So we have already some points over here. We're composing essentials. Let me know of your thoughts if you want to add something here. But the idea, identity, plan, intention, and dream. These are going to be the driving factors for you. How your music serves others. Very important. This makes you successful. Because if you make something that nobody wants to listen, well, good luck of trying to get someone to get paid from that. That's not how it works. Reality, money, tools, and time. You have to have some beginning investment. If you want to quickly start from this, 800. If you have like around, let's say, develop some while, 200. And you can even for free start. We're going to be doing information here. Of course, you can find more online. I recommend to do that. But then the money and the quality, they are interchangeable in the beginning. Of course, once you get more skill, let me see. Actually, this is the calculation. So money plus skill equals quality. So some person might actually let me actually do this. So the thing is, you might have a person that has no skill at all, but all the money, it's still going to show. But if you have a skill and no money, you are able to get your stuff out there, I think, and you are able to get people interested because, yeah, do something unique. That's the thing. Uniqueness, the identity, that's a big thing. But if you have both of them, money plus skill, then your quality is going to go very much. And of course, skill comes from doing it. but from education. And there's non-formal education, formal education, and self-education. All of these are the best ones. Formal education, it is kind of spoon-feeding as well, spoon-feeding, but I think the non-formal education, it can help. Formal education, it can help, costs a lot in many places. And self-education, you're able to customize the education to help you. And that's the thing. Do only something that really thinks that helps you. Some of these, like, people sell like $100 a course. Let's say Hans Zimmer sells a course for you, pay $500 to become a composer. It might not actually make you a composer if you just go to that course. Think about it. Think about what helps you.
A cream. I don't think it's money, more like utility.
Yeah, but the thing is, in the beginning, of course, money is going to lessen when you go forward. Let's say actually do this. Like, I'm actually do a math calculation. So it's going to be money is utility, and plus actually money plus good useful. I don't know. Let me actually put utility plus skill is quality. The thing is, skill, let me actually do this with huge letters, because the skill is going to be the most important factor in there. Skill, you need skill. You know, exclamation marks on both sides to notice. Skill is very much that affects the quality of stuff. So what else? Of course, we talked already about rote note and distributing your own music. I personally, if you want to go and check it out, I use this service called Route Note to do my music distribution. I have modded, indeed, good music out there, somebody masters. I do think I'm going to be recommending you how to distribute some stuff. Of course, the distribution, how do you share your music out there? It's going to be that, let's say, let me actually share this to you so you get some ideas. So, of course, if some people listen to music nowadays, there are places like SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify is a big one. Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, concerts, CDs even. Yeah, I suppose. How do you distribute your music? That's going to be the next thing you should be looking out for. This is the distribution stuff. And one that you should actually think about in the beginning. Some services help you to get to these places. You can actually sign up to some places like YouTube and SoundCloud yourself. We're going to be making tutorials on how to do them most effectively, or at least on the information I've seen. But some places like Spotify, Amazon, and iTunes, you need someone to help you to get set up with that. And there's usually distribution services. They usually cost money, but I've been using this service called Route Note. There's a link in the description and a referral code if you want to use that, because I personally believe this a lot. I've used it for many years. You can distribute your music for free in there. You can just, they take only 15% for the top cuts from that, or you can pay and get all the profits. That's the thing. That pays actually me money. When I do my own music, I'll get regularly paid, monthly paid from these places, because people listen music on those places. And that's the thing. And 15% cut is nothing compared to other services. You can start for free and such. Let me actually post the link to yourself if you are interested, because the thing is, I think this is the best service out there for when it comes to really like putting your music out there. I use it myself all the time, so I recommend, if you have any interest, sign up there. Of course, it's a referral link, it helps, but only if you succeed. That's the thing, and it doesn't really take anything from you. So yeah, again, that is a road note. But now, that is distribution program. There are many sort of different distribution things. For Spotify, Amazon, and iTunes, you need a distribution program. Road Note is one of them. Concerts, it takes a bit more time to set up. It costs a lot. You have to talk with venue people and such. So I think the only viable solution when it comes to beginners is these ones. And of course, plus more online places. Yeah, like this. Plus more online places. These are the most viable when it comes to beginners, because the thing is, when it comes to concerts, I'm going to be doing a tutorial later on that. I know some people are concerting. I'm not myself yet, or perhaps not at all, because that's not my thing. But I know some people that are doing daily, doing it all the time. That pays a lot, so I do recommend to checking that out later on. We do a tutorial on that. The thing is, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, people go and listen to these places, and you're actually able to get paid if you set up things right, and all the online places as well. So it very much comes to the identity of things. When you have like, let's say, a logo, you have a name, then they go to your SoundCloud, they see your music or YouTube and such. It's a whole nother ordeal of how to share that, I tell you. It's going to be its own episode. A whole new episode of that. But that's, as you see, there's quite a lot of essential things you need to do in order to start. Because if you don't have SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, how are you able to actually get people to listen to your stuff? That's the thing. How are you able to do that? Well. This of course comes to the plan sort of thing that we have earlier. Let me actually show you. Like earlier, you can look at this. There's the plan side of things. If you have a plan of, let's say, doing music in a certain time period, let's say a weekly song, it's good to combine them with the distribution things that people expect with your identity of music, that you are releasing music in a certain time period. And that's why you have to think about the time, the reality of things. You can see here, there's the time factor in there. So do you have enough time? Do you have enough time to really start this? You have to calculate that, plan that, ready. I personally, I'm doing daily the streams, as you see. This is my daily stream. I have time for that. That's my thing. And also, I do music very often. I do project all the time. So my time management is being a years of making process. Still perfecting that, of course. But it's going to be one of the most hardest thing. We're going to be making an episode of that about, again, at eluukkanen over here. That's what we're going to be doing. But the thing is now, let me actually go look at an example. Yeah, this is the referral stuff. You want to check it out if you want to. But now let's go to the composing a Celtic music AM project. One again, an example, my friend, but still a very good example because he is actually very successful in this. Look at his releasing schedule. Let's go to videos, music, uploads. Here we go. He has every week, 2 songs a week sort of schedule. Which is a very good actually, very good. He's regularly, like, as you can see, he doesn't really get too many views in some of these videos, because the thing is, when it comes to YouTube, it very much comes to sort of luck sort of situation and how people find your stuff when it comes to getting videos big, as you can see. But then again, we go to Tifast theme. It's a Final Fantasy oriented, so of course he's going to get more views in that. And let's say anything else that is big. Celtic background music, people search for that, it's going to become big. We go to, again, another one of these themes over here, Baldur's Gate. Yes, of course, that is going to get full of attention. But as you can see, he releases quite often his works. These are from 2 months ago. Quite an impressive number, to be honest. And he's grinding that out. The grinding is going to be one, if you want to distribute your music, it's going to be a reality of things. And you might release a song every 1 month, one in every month. That is also a good idea. You just have to think about it. What is the best solution for you? I release quite often, like the Celestial Iron himself. Good to think about that. Good to think about that, because then it combines to the SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, and this sort of stuff. Yeah, most of my time actually takes to these, and I hate it, but it's nasty that you have to really put time on this. But distribution, otherwise you're not able to get people to listen to your stuff. That's the thing. What else? I think, we have I did entertainment and music serves others. What else there should really be? I think just starting the work. I think that is going to be the final thing over here. Starting the work and like, that's the thing. You start the work. You start doing it. I would actually forget every one of these first, other than of course the idea and the identity, and actually let me do this in the importance factor, which I really think, which is the most important factor. Starting the work. When you do essentials of composing, you have the idea, identity, plan, intention, dream. Then you start with the work. You just actively do it. You grind it. It will start feeling at some point like nasty. It doesn't have the passion always. But of course you have a long-term goal. It will not always feel nice to do music if you really want to get it big. But sometimes of course you have to balance it. You have to have other life in the background and such, so you have an idea of what you want to do. That's the thing. To know this, it helps quite a lot. And you start the work. Let's say you plan to make a music every Friday. You have 2 hours in that. You just focus on, okay, every Friday 2 hours, or every day 1 hour. Even that is excellent. Very good time of investment. And then you can expand if you do well. Then when you do the music, you think about the distribution, how your music serves to others. That's going to be in the down here section. Reality and money and tools and time is going to be helping out with utility and skills, because of course the better tools you have, better skill you have, the better the music is going to be, and better the people are going to like you. Because of course it's also a presentation. You might have the best music ideas, but if you don't present them well, it's going to be a hard time for you, I tell you, my friend. But then you can think about the education, learning about the music, notation, tools, how to do certain stuff. Like, of course, in here, eluukkanen, we help you out with that. And that's why I would very much, if I were you, to focus on self-education is something in high importance. Because when you do self-education, when you learn this sort of stuff, it will help you out. It will make you that you are able to invest more, of course, with the music stuff you do, with the work and such. When you have more qualities of your music, and people will notice the quality, and you will notice it as well at the same time you're using it. So that is one of the focuses. The next one is, of course, formal education. You can go to universities. It will help. It cannot sometimes, because it depends on the teachers, it depends on the universities, it depends on the cost. If you use $40,000 for getting essentially nothing, then that's essentially nothing. I'm sorry to say that, but some schools are not that good. I personally, in the beginning, I wouldn't think about schools that much, because you have to get the taste of this whole thing. I would first get a taste of this whole thing, in a sense that you're just trying it out. If it's not your thing, you can leave it, but if it's something you like, then think about the education. That's why I left it in the middle section, because if you just put it right away, then you don't know how it's going to go. Not at all. It's going to be a kind of a luck thing, based on luck. Are you able to succeed or not? And that's not really good. Luck is not on our side usually. But now, then always things like I mentioned there. Do something if it helps you out. If you go, if you want education, if it's useful to you, then study it. You don't need to study everything. If you do rap, then perhaps notation doesn't work for you. It depends. It depends. Depending on what you need. It's like going to a store. If you want to eat, you have to purchase food. If you want to clean the toilet, you need to purchase other tools like that. It's like that. If you have when you have the music ready, in this portion you have already the music ready, let's say, we have the Discord over here. Let's actually go to Celestial Aeon's place. He has all of these music over here. Look at that, all of this stuff, and he actually then looks and, hey, I want to present them well. I put them a lovely little thumbnail over here. I'll do some video backgrounds and such. I have Vikings over here, and then I think about how to get the platform itself to promote it, looking at the down here, he actually writes all the good stuff over here, so it helps out the video to spread. Then he builds up the community, people like this stuff. It will take time to build that sort of thing. But that's in the section when you go to SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, the distribution. Let me actually write it down here. Distribution. And it's like this. Here we go. Distribution. SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. All of these work differently, but you can find people that listen to music over there. You can get your feet tested out in the cold water and see is it cold or not. I personally got my beginning in SoundCloud. My friend told me about it years ago. Of course, SoundCloud is not at the same as it was. There's a lot of phishing attempts of getting you to pay for things you don't want to pay. But I will tell you, getting your music out there, getting feedback from it, it helps you to get sort of idea how people have this sort of admiration of you. Do they like you or do they not? It goes to the quality of things, how you present yourself, and how original are you. I think I'm going to be actually putting here in here the plus unique sort of fashion, because if you do certain thing that everybody else does, then people don't like it. That like if they might not appreciate that you much. But if you, let's say, go to SoundCloud, you do the most interesting, different sort of jazz music that nobody does, then you get even bonus points from that, of course. But YouTube, Spotify, all these places work differently. I personally focus currently on YouTube side of things, as you might have noticed, and Spotify and Amazon and iTunes. These are the most best places on me. I'm going to be focusing on SoundCloud much more because it has some search value things. You know, Google shows your results easy with the SoundCloud. But, you know, of course, that's that. But the thing is, the first, and this is going to be the root issue for many. How your music serves others. If we go back again here, he makes it clearly, you know, original music, but it serves people because it is music that people already want to hear, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer music. They want to listen music from, let's say, epic fantasy music, Arabian music. All of these things people want to listen, and you are going to be the one who helps that. If that's the idea you have, if you want to do anything, let me know what your plan is, if you have any plans over here. But if you have those plans, you can actually focus on them. You can actually get them. You are able to rise above 80% of the competition if you just have a clear plan. Because not all of them have, I tell you. I've seen. That's the thing. How to become composer from zero to hero. We gone and went through the basics of this stuff. Basics. Idea. All of these things. But then you say, Elias, but man, I don't know anything else. Where to start? What to do? What's the thing? I'm going to be now, like, this is a long list, as you can see. I'm going to be now deleting everything, so keep in this mind. Of course, you can screen cap it if you want to. But I'm going to be taking all of this out, because I'm going to be make the most simplified list of what you need to really start. Like, just imagine you walking down the street and say, hey, I want to do this. I want to now do this. So this is going to be, this was the requirements to you to make it good. But if you want to really just test it out, and you don't have any music knowledge, then these are the future things you need to do. So let me write it down here. Simple how to start. Simple, actually write it down. Let me write it down. Simple how to start. 4 things you need to do. Just 4 things. This is going to be simplified version. Purchase a DAW, and of course you need to learn what DAW is. DAW is digital audio workstation. It's the composing program. Purchase one of those. Oh, there are free ones as well if you want to try that out. There are some free ones, but of course they have additional microtransactions sometimes. Yeah, that's the thing. The next one is try out and have fun. One of the good things is to have fun and try it out. We at eluukkanen, we have this Discord group that is very actually beginner helpful oriented. I'm going to be actually sharing you a link to that. It is basically a place that people come and share their own works, and they're a very useful place because, you know, I know that many beginners, I had in the beginning, there's this feel of, you know, what if they don't like it and it's kind of my own creation, should I really share it and such? There are some good communities that you can actually share that and get useful feedback. That's the thing, we talked about do what actually is useful. And useful feedback is something that is constructive. It might be negative or positive, but it's still it's like constructive. It helps you out. One of the things I'm going to be now posting here is the link to that Discord group. I'm going to be actually showing you how the whole place works. We have this sort of group for ourselves. There are other people, not just composers, but this is a place you can share your own all things at. And people have already done that. Let me actually go and show you an example of that. You go to our music sections down here in the description. People share their own remaster creations. There's some composers sharing their own work and of course giving kind of like the feedback and such. You know, I've given sometimes even harsh feedback for some people, but I think it's good to share some stuff that you like to make and get the kind of the gist of the idea. That's the thing. We are here to find out, do you really like this or not? Try out and have fun with the creation, but of course, as I just mentioned, share it out there. Share and get feedback. Oh, okay, remember things. You can get good feedback or bad feedback. If you share to your family, it's kind of like, are they going to really help you out giving the good feedback? I personally went to online, put my music out there, and found out, hey, people actually, some like this. And then I developed forward. Sharing and getting that out there as soon as possible is good. I wouldn't recommend otherwise. Of course, to distribute it right way, but get it out there as soon as possible. Because the thing is, even if it's bad, if you think it's bad, you can always improve. You can later delete the song if you have to. Get the idea of what people like your stuff. Of course, you have to still have, don't post everything. Like if you just have a crappy microphone and sing in there or something like that, perhaps people are not going to give you the feedback because they just are going to silently that was awful. But make it a kind of a good quality. Something that you like yourself. That's a good sign. If something that you like yourself is good on your mind, share it. Get feedback. And those are the 3 points. There's nothing really else. Purchase a DAW or play instrument or record anything like that. Just start doing stuff. That's the big thing. Start doing it. What are you waiting for? So many people. This is the biggest issue everybody in the world has. Not just composers, but everybody. I tell you, I'm just going to be making a huge font with it and underline it even. This is going to be the biggest point ever. Just do it. That's the thing. So many composers and people, they just kind of sit around with the idea that they want to make music. And why? If you have an idea of actually doing some stuff over here, if you want to really do some quality work, you need to start doing it right away. Right now, at this very point, because otherwise it's never going to realize. Nobody's going to call you and say, hey, you have to do this. You have to do it yourself. And it's a liberating thing. It's a kind of it kind of feels like, oh, what is this? What should I do? And these are good things to ask because now you are thinking of how to do this. But as I said, the simple things is just start doing. Do not think too much because sometimes thinking can be your enemy. You have to of course think, is it good, is it bad? But if you are thinking these questions like, should I really do this? Should I, if you have even slightest of interest, try it out. For free even. Just to get the idea. If you like it, if you have passion for it, then you know that you are going to the right place. If you don't have that, then you can just say, hey, I tried that, I don't need to think about it ever again. But never let that be something that just you are going to be thinking in your deathbed or something like that. Of, hey, I would have wanted to try out composing music. Yeah, don't do that. That's a sad thing. And if you do it right now, you're able to avoid that. Because if you have interest for this, better earlier than late to see, do you like it or not? Then you can focus on other stuff if that was not your thing. But hey, that was the first episode of how to become a composer from zero to hero. And as we have right now, we actually are now 1%. If you have watched this sort of anime, there's this anime that someone gets like more percentage of like power of like a video game or something like that. Now you have actually got 1%. Well, actually, I suppose 1% of the knowledge how to become a composer. We are going there. With each episode, we're going to be learning new stuff. We're going to be watching how to do stuff. We're going to be seeing how this whole thing goes out. Please, if you have any questions afterwards of the stream, leave them down in the description, down in the comment section. I'm going to be answering those. And if you want to very detailed help, I recommend to go to our Discord group, as I shared the link earlier. I'm going to be still sharing it actually right away, if we still have that. Here we go. Actually, you have the link there, so I'm not bothering. But the thing is, you can come to our little community. We have 170 people over there. You're going to get feedback. You're going to get all the useful information down there. Even some people helping you out even on that. Depends on, how you come. That's the thing. That's the thing. Hey! This was the first episode of How to Become a Composer from eluukkanen series. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream and the series. We're going to be having more episodes in the future times. There's a description in the link. There's a description of a playlist of having all of these episodes together. In future we're going to be putting them there. So if you're watching this afterwards, go and press that link. You're going to see all of them. You're going to see all of the episodes, and you're going to be watching from 0 to 100% how to become a composer. All of the good information, all of it out there, right in front of you. Are you going to check it out? Hey, wherever you are, thank you for coming to eluukkanen stream, and more content is going to be coming. Future, I'm streaming every day. Hopefully I remember to see you in future. Who knows? All the best for you.